Hello everyone, this is Simon from Language Atlas, and in this video I'd like to show you the German A1 vocabulary Anki deck. In this video we will go over three things. First, I'd like to show you the course structure of the German A1 vocabulary Anki deck. Second, I'd like to show the course content, and I will do so by looking at three Anki decks within the overall German A1 vocabulary Anki deck. And third, I'd like to show you some brief editing options. So let's get started with the first point, which is to show the course structure. I'll normally double click on an Anki deck to open it. However, I've already done so, as you can see right over here. Inside the German A vocabulary Anki deck, there are 9 chapters: pronouns, conjunctions, verbs, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, determiners, and numbers. Now, if we go to chapter 4, nouns, you can see there's a little plus icon in front of it. If we click on it, we can see that there are 20 subdecks inside of it. Now, what I've done is that I've categorized all the nouns by theme and put them right over here. So if you wish to learn academia and intellect, if you wish to learn animals, if you wish to learn materials and substances, time, maths and numbers, or transportation, you are able to do so. Now, this is very handy if you wish to learn a certain theme. Now, that was my first point, which is to show the course structure. I'd like to move on to my second point, which is to show the course content. And I'll do so by looking at 3 Anki decks within the overall German A1 vocabulary Anki deck, which is chapter 4 nouns, home, chapter 5 adjectives, and chapter 3 verbs. Now, I've done this because I don't have enough time to go over all 9 chapters, but I do believe that just having a look at these 3 decks will give you a good overview of what to expect when you get the German A1 vocabulary Anki deck. So I'll start with home. I'll click on study now, and we have our first sentence. Right over here, we have the German sentence with 2 blank areas. We have underneath it the translation of the German sentence. The bathroom has a shower, with the bathroom bolded and underlined. And underneath that, we have a picture. And this picture is a visual representation of the German sentence. Now, the reason that this picture is here is because you're able to create a visual representation of the sentence, and you're able to create a link in your mind between a concept or sentence and a picture. And this will help you better remember the words and sentences in German. Now let's have a look. How do you say the bathroom in German?
Das Badezimmer hat eine Dusche. Das Badezimmer ein Badezimmer. Die Badezimmer.
Great. So I'd like to get started with this point over here, or this area over here, which is the sentence area. We see right here the sentence with the correct answer. But you may notice that the answer, das Badezimmer, is in green. Why is that? Well, German is a gendered language. You have masculine nouns, feminine nouns, and neutral nouns. And the masculine nouns are noted in blue, the feminine nouns are noted in pink, and the neutral nouns are noted in green. So this will really help you better remember the gender of nouns in the German language, which is really important if you wish to learn the German language. Underneath that, we have an IPA notation of the sentence, which will really help you better pronounce German sentences and, of course, words as well. Underneath that, we have the English translation of the German sentence, and underneath that, we have the audio.
Das Badezimmer hat eine Dusche.
If you look at the second area, we can see that we have the singular noun here, both in its definite form and in its indefinite form. So this is the definite form, and this is the indefinite form. Underneath that, we have the IPA notation. Underneath that, we have the English translation, and over here, we have the audio.
Das Badezimmer ein Badezimmer.
At the very bottom, or almost at the very bottom, we have the plural version of the noun, IPA notation, translation, and again audio.
Die Badezimmer.
Great. Let's have a look at another card. The box is empty. How do you say the box?
Die Kiste ist leer. Die Kiste, eine Kiste. Die Kisten.
Now, the setup is exactly the same, but you may have noticed that this part over here is in pink. Why? Because the box is a feminine noun in German. Let's do another one. The card lies on the table. How do you say the card?
Die Karte liegt auf dem Tisch. Die Karte, eine Karte. Die Karten.
Great. So as you can see, it's the same setup, and again pink because it's a feminine noun. Now, this sentence. The floor is too hard to sleep on. How do you say the floor?
Der Boden ist zu hart, darauf zu schlafen. Der Boden, ein Boden. Die Böden.
Great. And as you can tell, the floor is masculine, hence it is in blue. Now, that was the first card type, which is that you see a sentence with some blanks, and it is your job to know what goes inside the blanks. Now, this is the second card type, which is a typing exercise. Now, we've seen this card before, but before we had to know it goes inside a blank. Now we have to type in the correct word. The second card type really tests whether you can spell words correctly. Now, I've typed in the word correctly. Let's see what happens.
Das Badezimmer hat eine Dusche. Das Badezimmer, ein Badezimmer. Die Badezimmer.
Great. Now, as you can tell, I typed in the word correctly. If you type in the word correctly, Anki shows you it's correct by highlighting it in green. However, what if we do not know the correct answer? What happens then?
Die Kiste ist leer. Die Kiste, eine Kiste. Die Kisten.
And as you can tell right over here, I had the gender incorrectly and I had the C and the K incorrectly. So it is a D word, so feminine, and you spelled it with a K instead of a C. And Anki has noted my incorrect letters in red, and it is shown over here what I should have had in gray. And the things I had correctly are already in green. So this card type will really help you spell the words correctly. And if you were to continue, you would see the same things, but then we have to spell more. Now, that was the first deck. I'd like to go to the second deck, which is adjectives. I'll click on Chapter 5 Adjectives. I'll click on Study Now. And this is the first sentence. German sentence, blank area, English translation, bold underlined, and a picture. Canadians are friendly people.
Kanadier sind freundliche Leute. Freundlich.
And here you can see, again, it's a sentence, IPA notation, translation audio, and then the German adjective freundlich.
Freundlich.
Let's do another one. Money alone doesn't make you happy. What is happy in German?
Geld allein macht dich nicht glücklich. Glücklich.
And over here we have the correct answer. Let's do another one. I'm sure that he'll come soon. How do you say sure in German?
Ich bin mir sicher, dass bald kommt. Sicher.
Great. And let's do one more. Landing on the moon is possible. How do you say possible?
Das Landen auf dem Mond ist möglich. Möglich.
Great. And if you were to continue long enough, you would get to this exercise, which is a typing exercise. And again, we'd have to type in the correct answer. And if you had it correctly, Anki would show it in green. If you had it incorrectly, Anki would correct us and show it in the appropriate colors as well. That was the second deck. Now I'd like to go to the third deck, which is verbs. I'll click on Study Now. And we see the same setup. We see a German sentence with a blank area. We see the English translation. We see a certain part bold and underlined, which is climb. And we see a picture as well. How do you say climb?
Ich muss auf die Spitze klettern. Klettern.
Now, what is interesting to note is that all verbs are in the infinitive form. They're all noted as the full verb, as you can see right over here and also here. Now, why is this relevant? Once you know the full verb or the infinitive, you're able to conjugate it, depending on subject pronoun, depending on tense, depending on mood, of course. So knowing the infinitive, knowing the full verb is incredibly important. And all the verbs in this deck are in the infinitive form, in the full verb form, which will really help you learn the language a lot better. Come visit me at the hospital. Come.
Kommen Sie mich im Krankenhaus besuchen. Kommen.
And as you can tell, another one. Will you eat this or not? Eat.
Wirst du das essen oder nicht?
Great.
Essen.
I can correct your math. Pardon me. I can correct your math homework. How to say to correct?
Ich kann deine Mathe-Hausaufgaben korrigieren. Korrigieren.
Great. Now, again, if I were to continue long enough and far enough, I'd get to the typing exercises. Now, those were the 3 decks that I wanted to show you. Final point, which is the third point, is that I wanted to show you some brief editing options. If I click on this icon over here and I click on options, you can see there's a part called daily limits. And essentially what this does, it regulates how many new cards you see per day and how many reviews you do per day. And new cards are essentially new cards that you haven't seen before, and reviews are reviews, things that you have done before that you will see again, a review. And I can increase this to 50, and I can increase this to 50 to increase what I see in terms of new cards and reviews. And as you can see, the numbers increase. And I can decrease this as well if I wish to, back to 20. Now, the most important thing is that you pick a number which is doable and feasible for you. And generally, this is a lower number rather than a higher number. Language learning is all about creating a habit and learning consistently. In my opinion, it's a lot better to start with a lower number because you're able to do it on a more consistent basis. And if you do a really big number, you may feel overwhelmed and may stop learning at all. So my advice, pick a lower number, start with it, and then increase later on if you wish to do so. Now that was it for this video. If you wish to get the deck, you can do so by going to languageatlas.com. I will share all the links in the comment section and description. I'd like to thank you so very much for watching. I wish you the best of luck when it comes to learning German, and I wish you a very good day. Goodbye.